Good morning, everyone. Be excited. Come on. See, I'm going to start. I ask a lot of questions, too many. And I'm going to start with a couple of questions for you. How many of you have heard these famous lines? You are too young. Focus on your studies. Do something that else is doing. Come on, guys, raise your hand. It's okay. Okay, I have two. How many of you have been shy at some point in your lives? Okay. Um, how many of you still go to school? Fantastic. um, see, what I was doing here is I'm just trying to tell you that I'm just one of you. Um, I'm 17 now and I'm a technology entrepreneur. I do a lot of research. I'm a published researcher. I also work towards sustainable development. Well, but it didn't quite start this way. About at the age of 13, I was just another teenager looking towards conventional career paths, dreaming about them all day. And 17 now, and sustainability is my sole purpose. How did I arrive at this juncture? Well, there are several reasons to it, but I think two of them would be that I knew what I was doing, and the second being I didn't know what I was doing. And none of them are quite right. So at the age of 13, I've been really passionate about technology when I was about 6 years old, since that time. At the age of 13, I was a little too comfortable sitting in my comfort zone. And I realized that I must start doing something different. I had a lot of ideas, and I started with TechAPTO. So TechAPTO was an ICT offering for the education and learning industry. Essentially, a consulting kind of a thing where we talk about education technology, guide you how to incorporate it, and develop technology for you. But it worked out well, and it was selected out of 600 startups, made it to top 40 in India, which translated to top 10 in Delhi NCR, where I live. Um, but in spite of all of this, no one is actually willing to listen to a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old with an idea. Um, what happens is that in spite of everything you're doing, you can. I was also named the youngest CEO at that time, but no one trusted my vision for education technology. But I continued. I continued working on TechAPTO. I started doing something a little different, only development, and um, it worked out well. It's still running. It's still TechAPTO is still operational. So that's been great. I just wanted to implement solutions that spoke way, way beyond my age. Only when I was coming back from a regular class did I actually found out what I really want to do, and that is work towards sustainability. I was coming back from this regular class when I saw a couple of tires burning by the side of a road, and 200 meters past, exactly the same situation. Only difference being that this time someone is also burning them, and with all those fumes rising, I just clicked in my head that I need to do something about this right now. I went home, did a little research, and realized that no one was doing anything about this. And I was left disappointed for hours, days, weeks. And that's when I started working on Tirelessly. And in 2016, we launched our first pilot. So Tirelessly is now India's first tires to trees company, which has an environmentally compliant end-of-life tire collection service. What we do with your tires is we safely dispose them. We do energy recovery and material recovery on those tires. Tirelessly got resounding success from the country because of all of you people, and how interested you have become because of social issues and how connected we are these days. Tirelessly, this is actually a very recent development. The United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network has selected Tirelessly out of a lot of solutions globally to top 50 in the world, done by youth. And this was, as a part of the Youth Solutions Report, Tirelessly was presented to the UN ECOSOC Forum on 31st of last month, just a couple of days ago. And it was part of that report. It was presented in UN headquarters in New York. It's been growing globally now, and we're trying to extend the outreach of this. And that's how I've realized what I really wanted to do. I want to change the sustainability paradigm forever by leading a revolution, a completely different set of companies working to solve environment sustainability problems, social issues that threaten our socio-economic foundation every day, to work on them in their competitive markets and prove that profit and purpose can go hand in hand. Sustainable solutions are available and we can do a lot about it. This is the new era of startups where community participation is key. So there's a role for everybody. You can be a researcher, you can be a financial analyst, you can be a business expert, environment expert, you love playing with numbers, you love making art, you love designing. Wonderful, we have a place for you. That's the new era of community participation and startups. So usually what I do is I wake up every day at about 5:30 because I need to catch a bus at 6:30. So a regular day. But what I do different is that every day I walk out of the house, I make sure I see one problem. And trust me, it's not that I'm a very negative person looking for problems. My intent is only to understand where I can do something, where I can present a solution, use my knowledge, my expertise about certain things to find solutions that are not only economically viable, but environment friendly, and also try to bridge the socio-economic gap and the digital divide that is coming up. The environment somehow has been plowing much like the Titanic, and it's our job as the next sailors, the next crew of that ship, to make sure that we not only make it go back again into the waters, but it's our job to make sure that it can sustain for about the next quarter decade, half decade. It's our responsibility. We are the new crew. This kind of a spanning has been very important over the years because it's essentially the very big problem right now. We have been growing tremendously. But growth and development are completely different ideas. All these numbers and GDP growths, that is not development. So development, in its simplest sense, is making sure that nobody is left out from our generation. Everyone's growing together, and everyone gets the chance to come up, gets the chance to make sure that their future generation can also be excited about all the things we are excited about. I get a chance to connect with numerous people now, and it's been wonderful. A story comes to mind. So this was about April last year, and I was sitting with someone talking about expanding tirelessly into a different city. And we had a conversation about 40 minutes, and they asked me at the end of it, so, okay, good, we'll go through with this, and whatever our agreement was. But, so what is your qualification? You're an engineer, right? And I looked up really amazed and said, no, actually I'm maybe aspiring engineer, I'm not too sure right now. This is the passion that we millennials have. We know so much about what we're doing. We know everything about what everyone else is also doing. That's the power of us millennials. So what are millennials? These are essentially, these are essentially the people born between 1990s to early 2000s. So the people who were born in the prime age of ICT. We can use ICT anywhere. We are so hands-on with technology. And thinking small is just not the option for us. Thinking small is nothing. We got to think big every time. And think new. Think new always, out of the box approach every day. But a lot of people have now started to think that millennials, you, me, essentially, most of us out here, don't stand a chance. But why is that? Why don't we millennials stand a chance? With so much technology on our side, we have become great communicators. We are better learners. We are informed decision makers. And we know so much about what we are doing. We are so connected with issues. Why don't we stand a chance? We do. Obviously we do. Essentially, the problem is that we as a generation have been looking at college dropouts and people who have become really successful in different ways and have started to not eye education with the right sense of value and respect. But that's all right. We can still fix that. Education is very important. Learning is a life for many reasons. Learning gives you hands-on analytical skills, critical thinking skills that are very, very important on everything you do. Every day we wake up, it's our responsibility to be the most intelligent version of ourselves. Always. Essentially, there should be no chance that we are not the best version of ourselves. We need different skills every day. We need a different set of knowledge every day. We can grasp so much about everything that's going on around us. It's just about observing at the right time and seeing things differently, which we are equipped to do. Innovation. Innovation is the most exciting word right now. Innovation, I can ask any one of you and you'll tell me what innovation is. Thinking different, thinking new, creating something. But right now, we have a different perception of innovation than what it is. Sure, it's very exciting, but we usually tend to forget that innovation is solely different. It doesn't need to be equipped with a lot of funding, a lot of people. You can innovate anytime. There is simply no excuse for innovating. You do whatever. You can start a startup right now. You can start a company. But if you don't innovate, you're going nowhere. And a lot of people say that without funding, you can't do anything. But that's totally wrong. Funding comes differently. Innovation is where you start. Funding is just for scaling up. And the most important thing is that we relate investment to time, to money. But what investment is solely, the most important investment to each one of us is actually our time. So you got to use your time wisely. You got to make sure that whatever you innovate, you have a backup plan. You have a plan A, B, C. You go on with it. You can't lose on your time. You got to count on your time, and that's the most important thing. And then comes the customer's time and everyone else's time who's involved with you. Starting early, I sometimes think that I didn't start early enough and people laugh at me, but you got to start early. You got to start thinking. It doesn't mean that, I'm going to say I'm 12 now, I'm going to start a new startup or anything. A lot of people have realized that us millennials need a different kind of an outlook and space everywhere. A lot of companies now give millennials the opportunity to lead their own projects. So that gives them the entrepreneurial mindset that they have, a little space to grow. And you can be an entrepreneur at a job, you can be an entrepreneur in school, you can be an entrepreneur doing an actual startup. It's just about starting early. Everything is about today, this second, this moment. Tomorrow is going to be completely different. You don't know what tomorrow is going to be like. So you've got to start as soon as possible. Thinking different. I have grown up with this vitality of thinking different. I have always admired the idea of thinking different, and that's what's kind of brought me here. I really enjoy thinking different. Essentially, all of us can do that because we are so equipped with thinking new. A lot of people when I talk to you about faith, I'm going to say that, faith has brought me here. You are going to look at me right now, all of you, and say, okay, this talk is taking a religious turn. Let's put our heads down. It's not that. See, faith is your understanding of what you're doing is right. Your faith in yourself, your faith in the resources you're putting, your faith in your knowledge, your learning, your understanding. That is faith. Have faith in yourselves and you'll lead anywhere you want. It's essentially experiences, knowledge, and observations that really change your mind. A lot of people think learning is not confined. For me, learning has been, using a new app in the flight this morning, or it could be reading a book 2 weeks ago. Learning is not limited to anything. You see a lot of people will tell you that, you're not doing this correctly. That's okay. A lot of people are going to tell you that you're doing things correctly, you're going on the positive track. Appreciate that. Go continue doing that. But to those people who tell you that you're not going on the right track, still continue working towards that and trying to prove that wrong, that you're probably going on the right track. Once you do that, you've actually learned from your mistake, and you will never do that again. Fear of failure is no excuse. Fear of failure is totally no excuse. And that is the biggest differentiator for millennials like us, that we understand this, that fear of failure can take us nowhere. And it's just about challenging yourself every day, challenging yourself to learn new skills, and interact with people. Give yourself space. That's what is the differentiator with us. Whatever we might lack in some sense of talent or knowledge, we can easily make up with the determination that we have, we get inspired by so many people. Get inspired, be happy about all you see, appreciate positives, because it's positives that take you along. A lot of people will tell you the power of change is in your hands, and trust me, ladies and gentlemen, all of you trust those people. They are absolutely right. It's all up to you. It's all up to us. We have the power of change in our hands, and humanity is going to rise up to these daunting challenges. But it's our responsibility. I especially want to be very integral to this rise, and I'm sure you want to. So let's get along with it. We do stand a chance. Humanity stands a chance because of us. Let's make it work, guys. Thank you so much.